Right, welcome. It is such an honor to have you guys joining me today. It's a session that really is on the back of a reflection. I've spent this particular time in the last couple of days reflecting back on the clients that I've worked with and the people that I've interacted with. And really, through that reflection, I took down a huge amount of notes. And it was going through those particular notes that suddenly this session actually became alive. And the reason why it came alive is there were these three words that had jumped up: success leaves clues. That's the title of this particular session. You see, in our life, we go around and we learn things from other people. We watch a TV show or maybe a documentary and we learn something. We read a book and we learn something. You see, all of these media devices, whether it's print or digital, gives us clues to success. And for many, they seem to read them like a story, like a novel, and think that was fantastic. And then they carry on with their life. But what I want you to do is, if you start to reflect back, and you can reflect back right back to the days when you were in school, there was a teacher that was teaching you, giving you knowledge. She was actually getting that knowledge from the research that was fed through to her or him, and she passed that information on. You see, when we look at our life, success is all around us. It's leaving these clues. All we've got to do is actually open our eyes and actually acknowledge it. And that's why I went through that reflection, reflecting back on the people I've spoken to, documentaries that I've watched, books that I've read, podcasts that I've listened to. And suddenly there were lots and lots of clues that were coming through. Now I want to share with you 6 that stood out for me. It's these 6 that you can actually integrate into your life, into your business. And it's these 6 that I think you're going to go, I actually thought of that, or I saw somebody doing that, or I read that, but I didn't think of actually doing it myself. So let me get into the 6 that I'm actually looking at. The first one was actually under the little title that I've got written down here: modeling top producers. You see, all around us, there are these top producers, and we interact with them in business, in social times, where we have conversations, and we really just ask them, what are they doing? How are they doing? How's business going? See, these are just general conversations. But what we tend to do is we have those conversations like we just listen or read to a novel, and then we move on. What I want you to do is to actually start to reflect. And that's what I did. I started looking at the top producers that I've coached and I've had conversations with. And I actually started to bring up, what were those common elements? What were the clues that they were telling me that I could share with you? Well, I can tell you this: there were actually 3 clues that actually came out of it. The very first one is they are consistently looking for new business. Whenever I have the conversations with a top producer, they're always, I'm looking for a new client. I'm always looking for a new, and they even come to me and say, hey, Stuart, do you know of anybody that's looking at buying or selling? And that was one of the biggest clues that's actually come out. Now I'm asking you, are you doing that? Are you consistently looking for new business? The second one is they keep on tracking their conversions. When I hold them accountable and I have those discussions with them, they can tell me, hey, Stuart, last week I met with 15 people. Out of those 15 people, I actually had a deep conversation with 4 of them, and 1 of them I've actually got a deal out. They track those numbers. They track those conversions on an ongoing basis. And I always wanted to ask why. Now, I know I used to do the exact same thing, but it was actually quite simple. You see, if last week I did 15 and I got 1, that was 1 particular deal, and I wanted 2. Well, now that I know that number of 15, well, let me just meet with, let's say, 30 people. Let me double that so I could increase my output. You see, by tracking those conversions, you can actually start to look at your numbers that's coming out and what you desire, and actually start to work those conversions all the way back. So that's the second thing. And the third, and this is one where when I'm as a coach, I'm holding you accountable. And when I speak to the particular agents or the top performers, they've got accountability partners, whether it's their friends, their family, their partners, their spouses, or whether it's another colleague. They've got an accountability partner, somebody that they check in with every single week. Now, for some of the top producers that I've dealt with, their accountability partner, and it might sound strange, becomes their PA, their admin person. They meet with them every single day to get feedback and give them feedback. And while doing that on an ongoing basis, they are keeping themselves relevant to their business. So the first clue that I wanted to share with you is modeling these top performers. And the three key areas that I've actually seen is one, consistently looking for new business, two, tracking those conversions, and three, having the accountability partners. And that's so simple. You can actually do that starting from today. It's so easy. So there's the very first one that I wanted to share with you. Now, the second one, and this was really going deep in reflections. And there was a certain individual that really stood out when I was looking at modeling. Now, the second one is marketing that works. It's marketing yourself, your brand, but something that works. And when I was doing a lot of research behind this, there was one individual that kept on coming up. And I kept on reading information about him, watching YouTube, listening to podcasts, doing as much research as possible. But it was one individual that just kept on coming up and giving me the answers that I was looking for. That individual, well, he goes by the name of Ryan Serhant. And I'm pretty sure many of you have come across part of the TV show, The $1 Million Network. He was that character that really stood out. You know, I know my wife would say the silver fox of the real estate of New York because of his hair going gray at a young age. But there were some key elements that kept on coming out of it. And I used to ask the question, how do I take a brand and really take it to that next level? What is required? And Ryan Serhant always came up with those particular answers in what he did. So now you're looking and say, well, what did he do? Well, his primary was to build his brand. Not only did he actually start his own real estate agency, Serhant, but what he actually did behind the scenes is really what was the key and what was the clue. The first thing that he did in any of his communications, he makes himself so approachable. That's why he kept on coming up in my feeds. He's so approachable in the sense of when you're listening to him, the words that he says to you, it's almost like he's actually having a conversation directly with you. Now, he may have recorded this 5 years ago, but he's having a conversation directly with you, which makes it so approachable. It's something where you become engaging. You want to listen more to it. You actually, and I fell trap of this, was starting to talk to a recording. I know, psychological help, but he's approachable. The second, he came across extremely stylish, not in an arrogant way, but he came across in a stylish way that met his personality, his brand, to his target audience. If you look at the way he dresses, if you look at the way, even the way he gets his hair in that perfect style, it looks all over but it's always perfect. You see, his stylish nature is authentic to him. Whenever you see him in a casual environment, and there's a lot of casual types of documentaries where he's in, or whether he's on the TV show, or whether he's doing a presentation, or whether he's doing some training, he's got the same style that goes through everything. And that was so key important. And the last, and this is why he kept on coming up in my feeds, he was visible everywhere. Everywhere I did a bit of research, bang, Ryan Serhant came up. I did a research on Google, bam, Ryan Serhant would come up. His visibility was everywhere. And that is something that is so important. You see, with him being visible everywhere, everybody gets to know him. Everybody says, hey, well, he's presentable, he's approachable. Well, I'd like to do business with him. And those were those little three key areas. But then there was something else that I wanted to add into it, because while I was doing my research, there was something that came out that really took all of this, being approachable, stylish, as well as being visible everywhere. There was something else that he did. And this was when he was doing his video tours. His video tours wasn't just, hey, I'm standing outside of this particular apartment and it is a 2-bedroom, X amount of square feet, etc., etc., etc. He was telling a story. It was almost like he was the friend inviting you into the house that he's just purchased, and he's walking through and he's joking about certain elements of it. And he's almost turning to you and saying, what do you think of this? I mean, this is fantastic. This couch, I wouldn't like to sit on it, but it is so comfortable. I might even buy one for myself. You see, his storytelling through his tours makes so authentic, but it's him. It's him that's actually doing it. And I know that people have tried to replicate it and they're doing it successfully. But because of Ryan's approach, taking it to a point where he's approachable, he's stylish, as well as visibly everywhere, it's absolutely amazing. So Ryan Serhant, that's the person that maybe you can actually get the clues. His agency called Serhant the surname. It's as simple as that. But success leaves clues in the marketing with that particular individual. So that's the second one, marketing that actually works. The third one that came out was the lead generation playbooks. You know, so too often when I speak with agents or when I speak with business owners, they don't like lead generation. They don't like prospecting. Why? Well, it means you've got to meet a stranger. And by meeting that particular stranger, well, we feel uncomfortable. We like to speak to people that we know and trust and like to do business with. But there was a key element when I was doing the research, and this actually came from a company that does automation on lead generation. And the automation was actually through tracking their conversion ratios, a high performer. And this is what they used to do. Any lead that came in, any lead, they set themselves a time frame of 5 minutes. And they did this over a period of time. They tested 30 minutes, they tested 20, an hour, the next day, etc. But they found their sweet spot of 5 minutes. Now, what did that sweet spot give them? Well, if they responded within 5 minutes, their conversion ratio went up by nearly 90%. Now that's amazing. And I suddenly looked at that and I was reflecting on so many of the clients that I've worked with and the people that I've spoken to. A lead comes in and it just happens to be at the right time, right place, where they go, oh, there it is. They give their client a call and that client converts into a successful transaction, deal, or client going into the future. So the key to lead generation, it's the playbook of how do we expedite that particular response time? How do we get that response time down to 5 minutes? And I know sometimes it's impossible because you may get a lead that comes in at 1 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping. So then sit and ask yourself, what tool can I put into place? What can I have in place that will be able to respond within 5 minutes? And it's that particular playbook, that particular tool really starts to increase those conversion ratios. I know that I've tested this. I actually went out to go and look at buying a new car. And I went onto the internet, saw a couple of cars, and I was actually doing the internet type of, hey, here's my name, here's my email address. I'd love to, and they always say, book a test drive. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I went to book a test drive. I did it with 3 different dealerships. I won't name the dealerships, but 3 different dealerships. And I can tell you, 2 of the dealerships, now I've had my car for 18 months, 2 of the dealerships, I'm still waiting for a response. And I can tell you something, those 2 dealerships, when I went with my wife, we didn't even consider going into that particular dealership. But the dealership that had this automatic response. It came back, set up a time. In fact, it was within half an hour, we had one of the sales consultants give us a call, and we said, no, that's fantastic. We'll actually come through on the weekend. It's more suitable for my wife, and we'll actually go through. And that increased our chances of looking at the particular vehicle, all because of the response time. So how do you get that? Create that lead gen playbook, something that you can look at all your different lead generating sources. How do we improve the response time so that we can increase those conversions to a successful? So that's the third one. The fourth one, and this is something that you should be doing every single day, it's follow-ups that converts. Because you've done all this hard work of marketing yourself, you've done all the hard work down to 5 minutes. They're now in your database, but you need to follow up with them. And it's following up with them that is so crucial to business. But there was a little thing that really was a bit of a difference when I started to research follow-up. Because yes, if you get a lead that comes in, you need to follow up with them. Follow up with them until they purchase something from you. That's really my philosophy and the way I used to go ahead with it. However, once they've purchased something from you, they almost become like a distant contact, and you never contact them again. So the follow-up that I'm actually now referring to is the follow-up of that existing database. And this was an area when I spoke with top performers, yes, they followed up with all those new leads to make them into a contact and in their database. But they spent their time, most of their follow-up time, with their past clients, the people that have done business with them, and the people that potentially is going to give them referrals or potentially going to give them repeat business. You see, that's where they were following up with. They were following up with all of their contact and their particular databases. And they did things like making sure that whenever they made contact with them, it was always a personal approach, wishing them a happy birthday, wishing them a happy anniversary for the day that they moved into their house. Just having that personal touch, that personal approach kept it in that connection. You see, they didn't always go to a business level. They just kept in contact with those particular clients. Hey, I see you ill. Hope you get better. These type of things. It's just keeping that personal touch with them. The second is they were doing a lot of client appreciation events. And I've spoken about this in previous sessions. Client appreciation events are so easy, and they are so important. For me, I actually did this where I got a couple of clients to come through to watch a movie. And what was so powerful about it, they didn't have to pay for anything. I bought the tickets. I bought the popcorn and the cool drinks so that we could sit and we can actually enjoy that. My purpose was actually to give back. You see, they're already a client of mine. I'd already earned commission from them. All I was doing was giving them a thank you through a client appreciation. And what was so powerful about it, once we'd actually come out, they all was talking about the movie. They were all really ecstatic with the energy of, wow, thank you so much. I got referral business from that. And still to this day, I have communications. Even though I'm not an active agent, I still have those communications. So these client appreciations is a give back. It's something that does not have to cost a huge amount. But really what it does, it just shows, hey, we care with that personal touch. And the third one of that was regular check-ins. And this element here was an area where when I spoke with the top performers, what they would do is they actually had it in their calendars. They went into their Google calendars and they actually set up, repeat every 3 months, contact Jimmy. Done. On that particular day, there would be a reminder that would come up there. Oh, I need to contact Jimmy. They get the cadence of making sure they had regular check-ins with these particular clients. And by doing that, they actually created the system that would give them the reminders. That personal touch just kept the business going on an ongoing basis. You see, this didn't cost them any money to get those regular check-ins. It was something that was an automated response that in fact had set up right in the beginning. And this is a little clue that you can put into your particular business. When you meet somebody new and you've done business with them, add them into your calendar. And there's a little option that says repeat. Make a repeat every 3 months, going for the next 5 years, so that it's permanently in your calendar from that particular day. And what's great about it, in most of them, when you're doing those repeat, there's a little description side of it, and you can write a little note. So when that message comes back and you're going into your calendar and suddenly it pops up, hey, you need to call Jimmy, you can click on it and there's a little note underneath. You can read that note and say, hey, Jimmy, how's it going? I spoke to you 3 months ago. I know it's been a long time. How's business going? I know that you're doing this X, Y, Z. He gives you some information. Guess what you do? You take that information and you add it into that particular note. If you're using that Google Calendar, whatever you add into that note remains, and it becomes a memory as you're going forward. Alternatively, you can always put it into a CRM, so it's in that database. But using that, you don't need a tool. You've got it automatically. So it's follow-ups that actually connects and converts. That was the fourth one. The fifth one, and the fifth one is something that, well, if you're in sales, you need to be talking to people all the time. And what better way is to become what they refer to as a networking master, someone who goes into a room and literally gets the name and numbers of every single person in that room. And I'm talking in a business sense, not in a personal sense, but they get the details of everybody, and everybody wants to come and talk to them. Ultimately, it's how to network like a pro. It's something that is so, so important. And it doesn't matter where you go. You could be going to a shopping center just to buy yourself some groceries. That's a networking opportunity, people walking around. Hey, I need to pick a lettuce. Which lettuce should I do? Someone standing next there also pick up a lettuce. You can network with them. Hey, what do you think of the lettuce here? Is it great? Should I buy it from this store, or is there another store? You see, the secrets to networking, it's actually trying to create a genuine, authentic level of trust. Something that you can communicate where you both have a common goal, something that's common between the two of you. So it's like when you go to a networking event, the common is you've all gone to this networking event to be part of this networking event. There's the common element. It's crazy when you go to these networking events and you don't network with anybody. Why? Why do you do that? Rather, go and network. But it's about being that authentic, genuine person that you can start to build up trust. And really the purpose behind when you're wanting to network, it's not about short-term sales. It's not about walking in and saying, hey, can I get a business out of you? Can I make some money out of you today? Yes or no? No, all right, fine, I'll go into the next. No, that is not what we're looking at. What we're looking for is when you're networking, you actually want to create, and we refer to it as long-term partnerships. Partnerships doesn't always mean that they're going to spend money with you. Partnerships means that they could send you referrals. So it's indirect business. When you go out to network, you need to be authentic. You need to be yourself. You need to build that trust so that this trust can lead to those long-term partnerships that really becomes enjoyable. When you're going into the networking event the next time, you can start building on that and adding new people into your particular network. So that fifth one, network like a pro with purpose as you're actually going through. The sixth one, and this is the last one that I actually got when I started to do all of those reflections, whether it was reading the books, speaking to people, all of that, the very last one was actually your mindset and those rituals, those routines that you do every single day. We commonly call them habits. But what we really wanted to do is we wanted, one, our mindset. We need to make sure that we had a disciplined mindset that was always geared towards growth. It's always geared towards positivity. We want to make sure that we're eliminating the negativity. We want to eliminate that mindset of actually saying, I just need to do nothing, unless you're on holiday. But that's purposeful on holiday. But in your business, You've got to have that positive mindset of growth. That's the first element. The second, and they go hand in hand with each other, it's that daily routine. It's that daily habit. Is that habit supporting your mindset? And is your mindset supporting your habit? You see, the two go hand in hand with each other. And when I start speaking to so many individuals, and one of the key elements that I got to find with the high level performers in the morning, they start out with those positive affirmations. They sometimes sound silly, but I tell you what it does. It starts believing inside of you. You start creating that positive mindset. And then straight from there, they go into those positive actions, those daily habits, like maybe they're going to gym, maybe they're eating a healthy breakfast, maybe when they're in the office, they're doing those activities, those habits that's actually getting them closer to their particular desired goals. But the two support each other. You see, you can't go around to do these positive mindsets. The two are going to fight each other. So it's actually, when we look at the mindset and we look at those daily routines, which we have to master, and we pull them together in a positive way, you're going to find that it actually gives you that energy to start moving forward in your life, in your business. So when you start looking at this, the great thing that happens is it actually starts to fuel your productivity. So you're going to do it in a very simple manner. Maybe you start out in the morning with a positive affirmation, and then you follow it by a few activities that become habits that helps you in your mind, your body, your soul, the three elements that really help you to start to set a foundation for your day. And by going forward, you're going to find that your productivity starts to move forward. And the reflection, when I spoke to people, I always asked them this very general question. So when you get up in the morning, what do you do? And that's where I started to see the difference between people that have these high level of productivity that's purposeful, compare to the individuals that tell me, you know what, it's so challenging that today. I'm not sure about business. The market is, and that mindset has changed. So those were the elements that really helped. So to give you a quick little recap, the 6 that I've shared with you, these successes that leave clues. The very first one, it's modeling these top performers and seeing exactly what they do. They consistently look for new business. They are tracking their conversions, and they're having those accountability partners. It's marketing that works. And the name that always popped up, Ryan Serhant. And I just want to say thank you, Ryan. It was amazing just to go through that particular journey, to understand it. It gave a lot of clarity. The third one, that lead gen playbook. This is the playbook of, well, when a lead comes in, how do I increase my responses? How do I get that response time down to 5 minutes? Doesn't matter, even if I'm sleeping. How can I get that response out so quickly? The fourth one, follow-ups that do conversions. And it's not following up with the new clients, because we have to do that. That's something that should be part of your business. But it's the following up of your past clients, those client appreciations, making sure that it's very personal, because that's where your repeat business is going to start to come through, as well as extended business on there. The fifth one is networking like a pro, making sure that when you're going to a networking event, your purpose, remain authentic, build that level of trust. But ultimately, you're looking to build long-term partnerships that support your particular business, and you'll support theirs. And the last one, and it's probably the one that each and every one of you should be doing right now, if you start looking at all of them, and that is your mindset. And that routine that you do every single day, that you start to master it, where the two of them come hand in hand. They become solid, and they're actually working to support each other as they're going through. So this session was all about that reflection. It started by reflection, but success, it definitely leaves clues. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Look what's around you. Look what has happened that is successful. Learn, how did they get to that particular point? There's going to be little clues that you can implement in your life, into your business. And by doing that, you're going to actually see how this journey, through this entrepreneurial journey, actually has a little bit of simplistic nature to it. It's something that, well, becomes easier. And you're going to go, hey, this is fun. So I want you to go out. I want you to reflect. I want you to look at what's around you. Take what I've shared with you, implement them. Let me know what works for you, what didn't work for you. Let's have those particular discussions. And if you have any positive comments or something where, hey, Stuart, I tried this, pop it in the comments below. Maybe you've reflected on a person that's helped you in your business and you just want to share and say, hey, thank you, in a particular platform. So I look forward to reading your comments. And if you find that this has got value to other people, share it with them, because I'm pretty sure this will have a higher impact on everybody. So this was a session about success leaves clues. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next session.